We are back at the airport again, heading off to our next adventure. We're leaving Thailand behind and are boarding a flight to Medan, the capital of the Indonesian island Sumatra.
Just got into the bus and now we're on our way to the airplane. To birds.
Medan. And we're curious to see what this place has in store for us. After hours in the sky, high above the clouds, we find ourselves flying over the islands of Indonesia. The land of my roots, a place I've heard about in stories my whole life and dreamt of seeing for as long as I can remember. Let's begin this journey, like all great ones do, with that first step. A step that leads you across bridges you never imagined crossing, and make you set foot into places far beyond the ordinary. A step towards traditions that root deeply into everyday life and that pull you into encounters you didn't plan for. That first step teaches you what it means to let go of control, closing your eyes at times, learning to trust and taking it all in with every sense. So you can step towards the extraordinary, change the way you see the world, and go further than you ever expected. And so you realize it was that very first step that mattered. Because that step was always leading you here. This is Sumatra. We wake up in the city of Medan, but we are already on our way out. We hop into a minivan and make our way through the busy streets, heading towards the Sumatran jungle. Outside the window there's a lot going on, and we just sit back and enjoy watching it all pass by. The further we drive, the more the city begins to change. Traffic starts to thin out, buildings get smaller, and there's more and more green around us. And then, as we cross a river, we arrive in Bukit Lawang, a small riverside village, and our gateway into Sumatra's jungle. But before we head deep into the jungle for an orangutan trek, we want to get to know this town first. Its people, the atmosphere, and the way of daily life here. And we found the perfect way to do that. So we hop on some bikes and start exploring.
We are doing a bike tour today around Bukit Lawang. We're gonna cycle through some villages and we're gonna take you along.
With our guide leading the way, we set off along the river. One of the first things we notice is how important the river is. It's the heart of the village. People come here to wash, cool off, do their laundry, and spend time together.
Selamat pagi. Hello.
Everyone seems happy and a little surprised to see us riding by. Even though we don't speak the language, we're met with nothing but friendly smiles. On the bike, you really get to take in how beautiful this area is, with endless rice fields and greenery. But what really stands out isn't just the scenery. It's the people here that make it special.
Thank you. For you. Yeah. Hello. High five.
These small interactions make it all feel real, and they're the biggest reason why we love to travel.
What's your name? Suchi. Amy. Amy. Suchi. Hello. What's your name?
Dewa.
Dewa.
Yeah.
Amy.
Connecting with different cultures is what makes travel so special to us. Somehow, it can make you feel a little at home, even on the other side of the world. Ever since arriving in Sumatra, we've noticed a lot of palm plantations. And cycling around, it's something you really can't miss.
If you open the black thing, you have like a coconut inside, and that is like really a good oil. As in Indonesian, we use like the bad one, like this one from the skin.
Yeah.
And it's not the good one. The good one is like the white one.
It's the one
like
is inside.
coconut. Yes.
Yeah.
But most like the good one we make like export.
We learned that Sumatra produces and exports a huge amount of palm oil. And it's an important source of income for many people here. But it also means rainforest has been cleared to make space for plantations, putting the forest and the animals that live there at risk. But not all palms here are a part of the palm oil industry. There's another type of palm that's been used in a much more traditional way for generations. We leave the bikes for a moment as we are invited into a family home, where they show us how they tap the flower buds of the sugar palm tree to collect sap. This is then boiled down for hours until it thickens into a rich syrup.
It's like caramel.
And we get it tasted fresh. It's sweet and rich, with a natural caramel-like flavor. And after that sweet treat, the family shows us how to make traditional tempeh, firmly pressing the soybeans together by hand. Exploring by bike has shown us a different side of Bukit Lawang, one you will easily miss if you move too fast. And on this bridge, right above the river, everything seems to come together. As people come and go, you start to see how connected everything is here. It's a simple place, but that's exactly what makes it special. We wake up in our eco-lodge, right on the edge of the jungle, getting ready for the moment we've been looking forward to the most, and the reason we traveled all this way.
We are hiking again today in a very special place because we're in Bukit Lawang and we're trekking orangutans.
See if we can spot them.
Let's hope we can find them.
Together with a local guide, we head deeper into the jungle in search of these animals. There are no wheel paths out here, and without a guide, it would be easy to get lost in the dense rainforest. Because of the jungle's climate, it's incredibly hot and humid, and it doesn't take long before we're drenched in sweat. So it's really hot. We are sweating a lot, but we're in the jungle, looking for animals. And the experience overall here is great, so it's worth it. The jungle around us is beautiful, but so far, apart from some giant ants crossing our path, the animals are still hiding from us. So it's not biting.
No, this even.
So we continue the search, constantly scanning the treetops in the hope of spotting movement. But some of the best clues are on the forest floor. Our guide points out branches and leaves used for nets, and pieces of freshly eaten fruit. So they have to be close, somewhere in this massive jungle. I don't know if the monkey call from our guide helped, but within minutes we spot our first monkey. A Thomas leaf monkey, or as the locals call them, simply Thomas.
Thomas!
And soon after, pig-tailed macaques appeared too, curiously watching us from the trees and even showing their teeth. Then we get the signal. Orangutans have been spotted, and finally we come face to face with these incredible creatures.
Hiking further now. We already saw 3 orangutans, which was very lovely.
Seeing these animals surrounded by all this green has been a real highlight. But deeper into the jungle, there's still more waiting for us. This hike is not over yet. With so many beautiful encounters throughout the day, we leave the jungle feeling incredibly grateful and lucky to have experienced this place up close. We make our way back down, following the sound of the river through the jungle. And at the water's edge, we take a moment to rest.
Lunchtime.
Nasi goreng in the jungle.
Lunch has barely settled before it's time to head back to Bukit Lawang. But no more hiking from here. From this point on, the river takes over. And as a farewell to the jungle, we sing together. Floating further downstream, we get a completely different perspective of the jungle. And when the current begins to pick up again, the calm ride turns into a final moment of fun. And just like that, we arrive back in Bukit Lawang.
Okay, welcome there.
Not long after stepping out of the river, we leave Bukit Lawang behind, and it's harder than expected. Surrounded by jungle, home to the wild orangutans, and filled with warm people, this place ended up leaving a bigger impression on us than we ever imagined. But our journey through Sumatra is not over yet. And together with our trusted driver, we continue deeper into the highlands, until we arrive in Berastagi. Here we wander through the colorful fruit market, filled with vendors selling all kinds of tropical fruits, some we've never even seen before. Then we continue driving on, towards a waterfall nearly 120 meters high, and therefore one of the tallest in Indonesia, Sipiso-Piso Waterfall. And from here we get our first glimpse of Lake Toba, formed by one of the largest volcanic eruptions in Earth history and the biggest volcanic lake in the world. And right in the middle of it lies Samosir Island, the place we're heading to next by ferry. With our minivan safely loaded onto the ferry, we enjoy the stunning views over the lake. And as the sun begins to set, we arrive in the last light of day at Samosir Island. The next morning, we wake up to some stunning views, suddenly realizing we're on an island in the middle of a volcanic lake. And we head out to explore it and its history with a visit to a traditional Batak village, known for its distinctive boat-shaped houses and rich cultural heritage. Together with a local guide, we explore one of these houses from the outside and inside, with decorations that reflect the spiritual beliefs of the Batak people. Inside, we get a small glimpse of what life must have been like, living in one of these houses. It's also here that we learn about a darker part of the Batak history, as until around 300 years ago, some Batak traditions involved cannibalism. At this stone court, at the center of the village, justice was carried out by the town elders over convicted criminals. And after some spiritual contemplation and reflection, the prisoner will be brought to a second stone court for execution.
Finally, execution.
Which our guide vividly brings to life for us. And after the execution was over, the staff was returned to the chief, where it was cleaned in a very specific way, something our guide demonstrates in detail again. Once we're done, completely captivated by our guide's storytelling about the village traditions, we began to see that beyond the darker tales of death, and cannibalistic history, the village is also full of charm. It's a place of contrasts and full of character. And with that, we leave Samosir Island behind, the same way we arrived, boarding a ferry back to the mainland of Sumatra. And with the last passengers rushing aboard, we set off across the water once again. We're driving all the way back to the city of Medan, taking in our final moments in Sumatra. And as if by fate, we witness a local procession passing right outside our car window. One final glimpse of the magic, tradition and everyday beauty of this country and its people. And as night falls, we draw closer and closer to Medan, and with it the end of our journey through Sumatra. We're not leaving Indonesia yet, but we do leave Sumatra behind, as we fly on to what comes next. The world is out there, waiting to be discovered. Keep exploring and stay curious, and see you in the next one. And don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you will never miss out on our next adventure.